If you're like me and you love hearing how other people set their goals, then this may be the video for you. A few years ago, after speaking to a friend online, I actually started to implement a goal setting routine at the beginning of each year. And I found that it's been something that's really helped me zoom in on my goals and actually have that focus last throughout the year. It's really given me a chance to understand what I want out of the year and really what goals I feel should be most prioritized. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about the routine that I use when I'm goal setting at the beginning of each year, and maybe you can implement some of these steps too. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kaylee June and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia, but I'm also a content creator, and a few years ago I started this channel to talk about all things business, content creation, social media, and freelancing wise. And if you've seen some of my recent videos, you may already know that I am an INFP, which is based on the Myers-Briggs personality test. And unfortunately, setting goals and planning everything to a T isn't really something that comes naturally to me. So for any of you out there who may be in the same position and have similar personality traits in that way, and you kind of struggle to get organized, or you feel you need another system to help you get there, maybe this will be one of the videos that will hopefully help you out. So I really want to give a bit of a quick backstory alongside the INFP personality test factor. So I really want to first explain why I decided to have this routine that I'm going to talk about in the video today. And obviously, as I said, it was because I had been speaking to a really good friend online, and her name was Olivia Bossett, and she is another content creator and photographer. She is incredible, and she's got some amazing information out there if you are in the photography realm, specifically for fashion. And I was talking to her online a number of years ago, probably in around 2019, 2020, and she actually mentioned to me on this particular call that whenever she actually sets her goals for the year, she would go away with a friend, and then they would do some goal setting together, and they would actually just hire out a place somewhere out of town where they could really focus on their goals, whether it was just for a night or so, just to really have that focus. And I immediately heard that and thought, oh my God, why am I not doing that? My goal setting routine up until that point had just been writing down some scribble on a notepad up until that point, and I'd actually probably have like 20 different pieces of paper with all my goals like scattered on them, and they'd be all over my desk, and it was just like an absolute mess. It was then that I actually started to realize that I could actually have a routine based around this, and something that was a little bit more of like a ritual that I could have each year from start to finish that really made me excited to set my goals as well. So for those of you who have watched my channel before, you may actually know that I'm an avid traveler, and I love getting away wherever it is. I just love to travel. I love to explore new places, and I love to have little weekend getaways whenever I can. I love creating content based around that. So that conversation a few years ago with Olivia really sparked life into my goal setting routine, and from that point onwards, each year my partner and I would actually take a short trip away somewhere just for a couple of days, do some goal setting, and I'd have a few other little things in my ritual that I would do to really help myself get where I wanted to be for the year. And not only would we do our individual goal setting for our own businesses and our own personal goals, but we would do some goal setting together because it was kind of like a nice bonding experience and something that you don't ever really stop to think and do, I think, throughout the year with your potential significant other. It's something that doesn't always come to the surface and something that you really think about often. So it was really nice to actually start doing that and realizing what goals we wanted to have as a couple, but also what I wanted to do in my own business. So there's a few things that I worked into this goal setting routine that made it even more exciting for me to really start setting those goals at the beginning of each new year. And I really feel that as a creative, I needed this. I needed something that was going to make this part of my business exciting and this part of the new year exciting for me. I felt that previously, as I mentioned, I was writing stuff down on lots of different pieces of paper. It would get lost throughout the year, probably after a few weeks, to be honest, actually. And it would get chucked in the bin, and I'd probably never revisit those goals or even probably forget about what I even wrote down. So I felt that I just needed something to really get me in the mood for doing it and really make it a lot more exciting and a different system that worked for me. So as I said, we started to go away at the beginning of each year just for a couple of nights, a short weekend away, really with no distractions for the most part, and with the purpose of actually doing goal setting. We would also try to stay at a place that really felt like an inspiring environment to us. So this might look different to everyone. If you choose to do this, you might prefer to be right in the thick of a city where the action is, or maybe you prefer to be out on a farm stay somewhere. But for us, we've had a few different places that we've stayed at over the years, and one of those particular places was actually actually in the Blue Mountains near Sydney, which is a really beautiful spot and kind of makes you feel like you're amongst the forest. And this particular cabin that we stayed in, this is actually where we got engaged as well, but this was a perfect opportunity to do goal setting here. It had the most beautiful veranda overlooking this gorgeous view of trees, and we just had such wonderful weather, and it was just so inspiring to wake up each morning there and be like, okay, what do I want out of my year? What kind of goal setting am I going to be doing today? And just kind of like having that environment made all the difference. And then another year we actually went down to the Mornington Peninsula, which is in Victoria, and we did some goal setting down there. So it was a bit of a different environment. It was closer to the beach, so we had some really nice long afternoon and morning walks there with our Whippet Suki. At the time we only had her, and this was last year, and we had such a wonderful time. Again, it was just perfect weather because for Australians at the beginning of the year it's summer, so it's usually quite nice weather. Kind of adds to the mood of everything when it's nice and sunny outside to really get into goal planning for the year. But I think there's so many different ways that this kind of perfect creative environment can look to you if you're looking at having a bit of a ritual for setting goals. You may prefer to be in a log cabin in the woods surrounded by snow. As I said, you might prefer to be in the city. Whatever inspires you, whatever feels perfect for you is really what you need to focus on, I think. So that's really the first part of my goal setting routine that I have each year. I really try and have that time away to specifically focus on the things that I want out of the year. The next thing that I actually started doing a number of years ago was I'd actually allow myself a small budget at the beginning of each year to go ahead and buy myself some new stationery. And to be honest, it's not something that you need to do, and it's not something that everyone will find interest in, but for me, I'm a bit of a stationery buff and I love stationery shopping. I just love getting new notebooks and new planners, and I would actually just have a little bit of a haul and a little bit of a budget for that for my business each year where I would go and buy some new stationery. And for those of you who have watched this channel for the last few years, you'll know that I like to do a lot of shopping at kikki.K. It is one of my favorite stationery stores online, and I really love looking at their new planners. And I'll actually go through a couple of the planners that I got at the beginning of this year just to show you what I would take along on this trip usually to do my goal planning and what I would start to fill in and really get ready to prepare myself for the year. Now, before I do, as I mentioned, this is not something that you need to do. If you don't want to add this into your ritual, if you're short on money, this is not something that you really have to force into that goal setting routine. I will say that if you're on a budget, there is actually a goal planner that I've downloaded many times from a creator called By Rosanna. She is amazing as well, and actually is good friends with Olivia, who I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So I'd really recommend going and checking out her stuff because she's got some awesome info. She's a graphic designer, but she also does a lot of content creation and a lot of how-to around content creation as well. So definitely go and check her stuff out. And I believe that she should have a 2024 goal planner, which is usually downloadable on her website. You may just need to sign up for the newsletter, but it has been completely free in the past and I have downloaded it. It is a really comprehensive goal planner where you can really be detailed and specific with your goals, fill it out from start to finish, and you could simply just use that as your goal setting. Or if not that particular template, then there's many others online that may feel more suitable to you. But I definitely found as a creative, I felt that that particular goal planner was wonderful to download. And it's something that I would definitely recommend to you if you are doing some goal setting at the beginning of 2024. Now, onto a couple of the planners that I actually got for myself at the beginning of this year. And these are both from kikki.K, and I believe that they do have these available again on their website for 2024. And I'm yet to get those, but I will definitely be having my stationery haul in January. So the first diary slash planner that I actually got was a creativity diary. And this was from kikki.K, as I mentioned. This was for 2023. And I felt that it was a really awesome diary to have because it just made me focus on my creativity a little bit more. That was one of my goals for this year, was that I wanted to focus on doing what I wanted to do a little bit more. And believe me, for 2024, I think that goal will be highlighted even more. And definitely for this year, it was nice to get back to just doing a little bit of creativity, and it was just really fun. So I could really plan. All the dates are in there and your calendars and everything like that. So it's a really good planner, day-to-day planner if you need it for that. But it's also just got a lot of information about creativity and well-being, and it's got some like little fun little games that you can kind of fill in and play throughout the week. I loved some of the little challenges that it had week to week. Like for this one, it said learn 6 words in a new language. What are they and what do they mean? So I love language learning, and I was doing a little bit of language learning for Korean at the time, so I filled that in. And it's just little things like that that can kind of just add a little bit bit of spark of creativity into your week, or something just else to focus on that's maybe not necessarily work. So that was definitely more of a fun kind of diary. And then I also picked up this goals journal from Kiki K as well. And as I said, I think that they do have this available for 2024 on their website now, but this is just awesome. I felt that this was just so specific in terms of goal tracking and actually seeing how you progress over the months. You can have weekly focus plans, and then you can fill out your day-to-day in terms of your actions on how your goal tracking is going, what you're actually doing to achieve those goals, those little bite-sized pieces of effort that you make every day to achieve those goals. You can write them down in here and really track them well. So I loved using this book this year, and I really liked the daily review as well to see how had I tracked in the day. Had I achieved anything towards my goals? If not, what am I going to do differently tomorrow? Or what habits have I at least implemented, or good habits have I implemented for this week or this day to really contribute to any of those goals? So I think it's really helpful. You can be really specific with your goals, and it really does go into SMART goals here, which I'm all about. And I just find it a really helpful goal planner. If you are looking for a goal planner to set your goals for 2024, I definitely recommend basically anything by Kiki K. That's usually what I do. I'll have my weekly, daily, monthly, yearly planners around my office, and I just kind of try and use all of them to my advantage because I'm not very good with remembering things. Being an INFP, I feel that I'm often in another world when it comes to work and scheduling, so definitely having some of these planners really helps things be a little bit more creative to me and keep me on track while still having a little bit of spontaneity in my week. So I really enjoy using these, and I highly recommend if you haven't sort of bought a goals journal or anything similar, they're definitely helpful in setting your goals for the year. So another thing that I'll mention, and it is an optional thing, but I do recommend it, is that every 6 months you can really reflect on your goals. So for example, if you did have the money to maybe go away for another night somewhere and really go and review how your goals are tracking for the year, every 6 months it's really good to do that and kind of go back to your goals and see if they're still tracking or if you feel that they need to pivot in any certain way. But essentially this particular ritual that I have at the beginning of the year is really to help me relax, help me get in a really creative mood as well for the year, and to help myself find out what I really want out of the year. I think that sometimes that's difficult to do because quite often you'll be focused with earning money and how am I going to scale my business more and how am I going to make sure that I can pay my bills, and there's so many stresses that kind of come along with that. So you're always kind of looking for goals to, I guess, help prop that up and help make sure that you're getting that consistent income that you need, whether that be as a content creator or a freelancer or even someone who is working full time or you're wanting to make that change eventually. There's a lot of goals that go in behind that, and it is really tricky to sometimes just take a step back, especially as a creative, and realize what you really want. I usually consider my short-term, intermediate, and long-term goals as well. So I don't even just look into the following year, I'll look a couple of years ahead, not too far, because I think that my goals do change quite regularly and things do need to pivot, and you never really know how life is going to play out. So you want to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room in case other opportunities come along that you really want to run with instead. So I think it's good to look ahead in terms of short-term, intermediate, and long-term goals as well when you're setting your goals for the year. So essentially that is my goal setting routine, and that's basically how I organize it for the beginning of each year. And for this time round, when I do go to do my goal setting, let me know in the comments section below if you'd like me to do more of a video where I do kind of like a follow me and maybe do a little bit more information on where I go and how I set some of those more specific goals. If you want more videos on that, definitely let me know. I know that for me, my goals are going to be really changing this year, and I'm definitely going to be getting back to what I really want to do and getting back to creativity once again. I felt that I did lose it a lot of last year, and unfortunately with the way that the economy was, so much of financials do tend to take over at times, and it really takes you away from being that creative person that you want to be. So I'll definitely be focusing more so on my freedom and what I really want out of life, more so than necessarily what I always want out of my business to scale it next. I definitely feel like some of those things have changed so much in the past few years as I've moved into my 30s. I definitely value other things over others, if that makes sense. So if you'd like to hear more about my goal setting and what goals I'll be setting for this year, definitely let me know in the comments section down below. But also let me know in the comments if you have a very similar goal setting routine, or if you go away to do goal setting like I do, or if you have something completely different that you like to do. Definitely put it down in the comments because I would love to hear. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure that you do, because I'll be posting a lot more videos like this one in future. But thank you so much for watching this video again, and I'll see you in the next one.